To create a visual identity is to learn to speak the language of the brand. Making a mood board is like saying, "Hi, how are you?" Okay, so mood boards are boring to make and you might not even make one for every project. But they can make your life as a designer so much easier if you know the right reasons why you're creating them. So let's dig into some thoughts here. Quick disclaimer first. I will be using the expression visual identity instead of logo. While the logo is, well, just a logo, the visual identity is the whole set of visual elements that are created specifically for the brand communication, like colors, typography, imagery, packaging, stationery design, and, well, the logo itself. I will be referring to a visual identity project, but this mood board process can be used for any design project, and even other areas of design, like interior design, for example. Also, I won't be teaching you the technical aspects of creating a mood board. I trust that you can gather a few images together on whatever software or tool that you are using. You can even use an actual board if you want to. A brand is an entire world. This is the main reason why you would want to create a mood board for a visual identity or a branding project. A brand is an entire world of its own, where people behave, dress, think, and communicate in specific ways. They may eat certain types of food and listen to certain types of music, and it's up to you as a designer to decide whether this info is relevant for the brand or not. And the more niche down the brand is, the more specific these aspects will get. So start with more broad concepts. What are the lifestyles and aesthetics surrounding this world? What type of human beings live in it? How old are they? How do they dress and what do they talk about? Base this info on as much trusted data as you can. Look for demographics and researches and include them as well on your mood board. Key info about the people that make up the brand world are a must-go. Don't be afraid to include text or keywords in your mood board. On this first step, we're trying to understand who these people are and how they behave. So in the future, we can justify all of our design choices based on relevant and meaningful connections between the design and the brand's target audience. You'd be surprised to see how easy it is to sell your design concepts to your clients by showing them that you actually understand the people that make up the brand. Digging deeper into design references. After having built this solid foundation on who these people are and how they behave, it's time for us to narrow our view and start digging deeper into visuals. The best place to start might be looking at the competition. Yes, a brand is an entire world of its own, but the market segment that this brand belongs to is an entire universe, filled with many different yet very similar worlds. The process of coming up with a brand identity is an endless balance between standing out but still remaining recognizable within the brand's niche. When looking at the competition, you keep an eye out for trends. Most niches have some sort of a general visual language that is being spoken by all the brands and understood by the target audience. This starts with the actual language, the way the brand communicates. Are they old or are they young? Are they more cool and trendy or are they more serious and formal? But also, and just as important, how this verbal communication translates to visual communication. What colors are they using? Are they being more bright and joyful or more conservative and toned down? The lines that make up the design compositions, are they more straight and sharp or are they more fluid and organic? Typography. Serif, sans serif, retro, modern, these will be your starting point. Build a strong understanding of this visual language that's being spoken by all of these brands. Think of them as the niche's rules. Then, later on, as you build the elements of the visual identity of the brand, take the liberty to consciously break some of these rules, always keeping in mind the balance between fitting in and standing out. Wrapping everything up. After you did your research on the target audience and the competition, you have the foundation set. These are the two most important things to have a good understanding of before you start creating anything. And I can't stress enough how important they are, so take your time. But now it's time to move on to actual references. You start by looking for things that you find pretty and that make sense in absolutely any way to your project. You can branch out as further as needed and literally go crazy on your searches. At first, try looking for similar segments. Like, if you're working with a coffee brand, try looking for some tea brands, or maybe cookie brands and chocolate brands. They're not in the same segment, but they're really close, and they actually have a real-life connection as well. But also, go as far away from the main subject as you see fit. Inspiration and good ideas come from the places you least expect them to. And remember, you will never be able to break the rules if you let them hold you back. A really good habit to have is to make notes for every single image you select for your mood board. As you do your researches, you might know exactly why you selected a specific image, but the next day or the day after, you might look at your mood board and think, why the f did I pick this image? Especially when you start to go really off-branch in your searches. So, making notes is your best friend. At this point, you should look for references of everything you can think of. Colors, typography, imagery, other logos, design styles, or literally anything that can make sense in any way to your project. Take your time researching and go as deep as you feel the need. I'll say it again, a good and well-developed mood board will set the foundation for the whole project, so don't rush it. Should I share my mood board with my clients? No, absolutely not. Remember, your clients are not designers, and even though you might explain to them what's a mood board and what's the purpose of it, they might not totally get it, and they'll end up either creating wrong expectations about your designs or pointing you out like, do it more like this or do it more like that. What you should do instead is create a second mood board specifically for collabing with them, so they can share the things they like and give you a general direction on what they want and what they expect for the brand. Make it clear that these images will be used just as references. You are the professional designer after all, so if you think that something is a bad idea, don't go on with it just because your client asked you to. Whenever you feel that something might not suit the brand's needs, rely on your knowledge as a designer and explain to your client why. Do it with confidence and show to them that you know what you're talking about. This is the sole purpose of the mood board in the first place, to give us understanding on the world surrounding the brand, so we can come up with the best solution for the client's problem. Rely on your mood board to sell your project. The greatest part about building a mood board is that not only you have a solid foundation to build your designs upon, you also have useful and meaningful information to rely every design choice on. And make sure to use this to your advantage. Remember that design without a purpose or a meaning is nothing but pretty form. People like to see that they're investing their money in something that is relevant to them and their business. Relying on the information you gather in the mood board to justify how and why the design works will make your clients more trusting and confident, not only in the project as a whole, but on you as a designer. The way that I like to make connections between the project and the mood board is by showing how the design reflects or mimics specific trends and behaviors, either from the market segment or the target's audience. I use this typography because the average consumer tends to be a more modern person. I use this color palette because the market segment has a trend for retro and vintage aesthetics. Of course, you can elaborate a little bit more on these arguments. I'm just giving you a very superficial example here. And that's it for this video. I wanted to keep it short and go straight to the point because mood boards are boring. I don't like to make them, you probably don't like to make them. Do you have a different technique or something that you like to do while creating your mood boards? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you and exchange some ideas. This is, after all, the main reason why I created this channel, to build a nice community of designers willing to share ideas and knowledge. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I see you on the next one.